Welcome everybody to Well Read at Works San Jose. This is 2021 and we are here featuring McTate, Stroman II and Sharon Coleman. I'd like to first give it to Joe Miller, president of Works San Jose, to talk a little bit about what they've got for us in store. And right now, go ahead, Joe.
All right, thanks a lot. Yeah, we've got some stuff going on online, of course, like this. And tomorrow night, which I'll put up in the chat in just a minute here, we've got Flash Fiction Forum going on at 7 p.m. tomorrow, Wednesday. So I'm going to share right now a little look at the windows of Works here, and what we looked like the last couple of weeks. So this will just be like 30 seconds of snow at Works. Going on. Windows of work here, and what we looked like the last couple of weeks. So this will just be like 30 seconds of snow at Works. All right. So that was, as you heard, 30 seconds of snow at Works. So there's lots of news, but just check us out on Facebook, of course, just like you should, Poetry Center San Jose. I do want to talk a little bit about Poetry Center San Jose news, though, for just a bit. And so I'm going to share another image here. And this is Veterans' Right. This is a book that just came out in the last couple of weeks here. And it's just going out now to participants. I'll put up a link also to go and get the book in the chat in just a couple of minutes out on Amazon. This is published by Poetry Center San Jose. It's designed by me and with cover art right here by Aaron Toole, these fantastic cups. And Aaron is also a veteran. This is all part of Amy Meyer with Poetry Center, her program that's been going on for years with veterans and families of veterans in this writing program, meeting every first Friday and getting together for this writing program. And then we've combined that with artists like Aaron, Sam Smith, and some others who are also veteran artists to come into the book. Aaron's been doing this series of cups, and he's up to a couple 100,000 of these ceramic cups, and he gives them away. And so the one up in the upper right corner that you're seeing, actually he gave to me when he was in an exhibition called Iraqi Memorial at Works a few years back. And anyways, please check out the book. Maybe Rob will talk about it a little bit as well. But that's a little bit of our pride and joy at this moment. And without any further things, I'm going to give you over to Rob. At the intermission, we'll have a two minute video of also another display that we had in the windows at Works of an exhibition that we have online called For Mr. Floyd, Ms. Taylor. And we did a projection video thing with that that's a little bit more involved than the snow thing. And I'll show you a 2-minute version of that at our very, very brief intermission in a little bit. I'm going to give to you now our beautiful president of Works. I mean, I'm the president of Works. I'm going to give you the president of Poetry Center San Jose. He's right there for me. I don't know where he is for you, but he's right there for me. Rob Pesich.
Well, I don't know if I'm beautiful. I'm full, but full of food. Thank you, Joe. Thank you all for coming.
Isn't that a pop song right now? 'Cause you're beautiful. I don't know. I don't even know who it is. Some little white kid.
Yeah. Just a few announcements here for Poetry Center. Third Thursdays at Willow Glen Library, coming to you this month with featuring Danush Ramirez, and then later this month, Bashar, a reading sharing poetry, fiction, one-act plays in Hindi. This hosted by Anshu Jory, Ritwik Verma, and Papi Charnalia. And that is January 23rd at 7 p.m. And then we have the San Jose Poetry Slam with our slam master, Scorpion Excellent, and she should be here as part of the participants. Next month on Valentine's Day, featuring Hillary McHenry. And then next month for Well Read, on February 9th, we are featuring Taya Matthews. So those are some of the events coming to you in the coming weeks. And for Veterans Right, you can visit pcsj.org, the website, for more information about how to order. If you're a member, there is a discount. This is not a grant-funded project, so if you want to pay the full price, that'd be much appreciated. But there is a discount for membership, and you can find the book on Amazon, or you can just contact me through chat for further information about how to get the book without going through the beast. Okay, so tonight, really happy to have featuring for Well Read, McTate Stroman II. And McTate is fantastic. Both are fantastic poets. He is a poet, spoken word artist, and motivational speaker. Over the past 25 years, he has had the opportunity to share his inspirational talents at such places as the World Stage in LA. And he is also the founder of, and he is also the host of a monthly open mic at, and this is called First Thursdays, at the beautiful Euphrat Museum on the campus of De Anza College. This has been going on for well over a decade. Please give it up for McTate Stroman. Come on down. Well, come on.
All right. Yes, indeed. Welcome, everyone. And thank you, Rob, and Poetry San Jose, San Jose Poetry Slam. All of you guys have been very supportive. Great organization is definitely something that I wanted to be a part of, moving into the Bay Area from Southern California, and it's everything that I expected it to be. And I do host First Thursday, held at the Euphrat Museum. Unfortunately, with COVID and everything that's happening, it's more of a quarterly event. So our next one, we just had one in December. The next one we will have is in April, National Poetry Month. Be featuring Ronnie Walters, along with some other poets. Last time we featured my great friend, Miss Venus Jones. We had Will Madden, Jeff Turner, and Mighty Mike McGee. So it's always a great time. And of course, we have some wonderful students there. I put in the chat a link to my website. I just released my first audio album called When I Say Hip Hop. I like to think of it as a longitudinal study of how hip hop has watched me grow, watched me raise my children, and things like that. And that's what I'm about with my art. And so I would like to start this reading with a piece that's on my album called Life with Kids. You see, parents just don't understand was my jam at first. But it's as if karma is a curse, because raising kids is the worst. It's as if the universe in some marvelous style peered through the clouds for a while and smiled, checking every move of this b-boy child like what goes around comes around. So now, you see, when my eldest came home, asked if I could chaperone, I simply said to my love, yo, it's on. Because see, I'm the type of parent that would leave the kids alone. See, I used to do the freak and also the wapun. I mean, I even kicked my leg like my name was Michael Jackson. So in the junior high gymnasium, you would have thought they spiked a punch because my face went numb as the crowd went hyphy and the girls went dumb. That's when it hit me, the epiphany, that things had really changed. I'm like, what happened to Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, Dana Dane, dancing with girls, doing the RoboCop, matching outfits, stripes, and polka dots? It's like a whole nother world that's long forgot. Because ever since the pops, I'm like, clean up your room, pick up your socks. Boy, put that down. And you, stop. Yes, hip hop's my culture, but it ain't my life. I'm now 48 years old, raising seeds and loving life. Thank you. So, with, thank you. With my project, when I say hip hop, it's also my way of, as a part of that culture, it's my way of bringing back to life the writing. What does it mean as a culture of hip hop? Because if you let the airwaves tell it, hip hop is turned into something at times that is something I don't necessarily recognize myself, but it's for the young generation. It's for young people to do what they must do, but also as an older individual in spoken word myself, as a part of that culture, I choose to speak on it. I'm going to read the title piece to the album entitled "When I Say Hip Hop," and it's given that history of what hip hop means to me. You see, when I say hip hop, I tend to think of Planet Rock. Because see, I used to pop lock and blow up the spot. From here to Ypsilanti, by myself or with my family. You see, I was the shorty of the crew, but my age couldn't ban me. You see, back in '83, to me was the old days. We used to battle at Loma Alta in them hallways, where some had skill and still had all A's, while young Tracy Murray was hitting J's. Swish, that was love, lay. So can you feel me? It still be that same old shit. I now grabs the mic, flip the script, and boogaloo like shrimp. Always down for the cause. I even used to pause with Run DMC, Jam Master J, and my Adidas. I'm just taking it back to the essence of the real hip hop. When I was a little shorty and I used to pop, walking down the street in my new boom box, because I'm just a man in this music, like Scott LaRock. And I used to break dance every chance I got. You see, I used to break dance to Total France in my parachute pants. Backspin and then I posed, chose my b-boy stance. Broke it down and started ticking. Like Mr. Wave and have him tripping. Up rock to the joint point and catch him slipping. Because you see, there's no room in the cipher for young kids who want to chill. It's always like, brother, you're next, so you best keep it real. And I still walk the streets with that same pizzazz. But instead of a boom box, I now rock a pen and a pad. And on my shoulders, a little lad. Because above all, I'm just a dad. Thank you. And something very important when speaking about hip hop, I don't know if you guys know this, but in the Olympics in 2024, breaking will be an event in the Olympics. So that's definitely a big milestone for hip hop. Growing up, that was the first element of hip hop that I was involved in. was a dancer, and we definitely watched gymnastics and built from there, you know, the floor exercise. So it's going to be really, really exciting to see coming 2024. And definitely the world has really a grasp on the hip hop and definitely breaking throughout the years. So unlike America, where we're always looking for what's new, what's next, the world will be definitely representing. So I look forward to watching our American team and seeing that as it goes. One thing that's not on the album, and you know, with COVID and a lot of self-reflection, I want to do this piece entitled War of the Gods. It's about that inner conflict that God and devil within us all. And here it goes. You see, sometimes I feel as if my brain chemistry would disperse into more characters than the Smurfs. Forget a one-man man. Forget a one-man band. You see, I'm more like a one-man universe where lyrics swing like Big Hurt, incite enough rhythms in Steve Martin to play the jerk. Forget smiles. I often smirk. For in whose eyes do devils lurk? You see, I run slang like gangs bang, and now I'm putting in work in my mind to find methods to spit like AKs while yelling warriors come out to play. You see, stress be mad, fat. I have to tell Mac that a few brothers might even hate you. No need to ask why. It's human nature. One breath, 2 steps away from Beelzebub's chambers. Blow. And now blood flows like anger. You see, death is that double banger. For it's either Satan or the Savior. As for me, nah, I only feel the anesthesia to transgress to other levels while yelling checkmate while playing chess with the devil. Sitting on a bed of nails, flipping scripts and sparking L's, collecting mad props through laptops and email. In his land, and now he's lost, like Chaka, drinking a 40 ounce of OE, claiming to be simply the top knocker. You see, that time has come for the war of the gods. Thank you. Yes, as a poet, self-reflection is needed. You know, it's very cathartic, and also as a spoken word artist, I'm a storyteller, and one of the pieces from the album is entitled "A 90s Love Story," and I'd like to share with you guys this story. You see, I was walking down the block when I had to suddenly stop, like I was summoned by the cops. You see, this girl, well, she reminded me of a girl whom I used to like a lot. My homeboy's older sister by the name of Lisa Lott. I digress. But what I'm saying is, oh, girl was mad hot. Plus, she blew up the spot singing some Jill Scott. I mean, beauty mixed with hip hop just made my jaws drop. Yo, I tried not to jock, but I just could not. You see, she was badder than bad, bro. I mean, you do the math, yo. She was eclectic and natural, like Angie Stone's afro. I mean, I tried to keep my feelings locked down on the low, but from the time she said hello, my feelings started to flow. As she spoke poetical like Maya Angelou, I mean, she looked me in the eyes and my world moved slow. I was like, yo, she's mad incredible. boo. Then we walked. We talked for a good hour or so. Then she touched me on the hand and said, love, I gotta go. Now you might be wondering, did I get a number? Yo, I got the 1 to a home plus a cellular phone, though I was locked in a zone. You see, she had a style all her own. Her essence was the presence of a Nina Simone. I said her essence was the presence of a Nina Simone. So needless to say, I couldn't wait to get home and hit her up on the phone. I was like, sweetheart, I am saying, I like what you do. You've been all in my system like the flu. So even as you microphone check 1, 2, I continue to think about you and the way you call me boo. Translated through your touch. You see, there's oh so much solace in your clutch. Plus trust you enough to make a black man blush. But I'm not Bahamadia, but my dear, I confess, you're the reason in summer seasons we act wild on the West. It's your style, your finesse, and that jersey dress that puts flesh to the test. Yes, yes. Plus, I like the way you rock hip hop and your guests, like Bonita Apabum from a tribe called Quest. So lay your head upon my chest and lay your stress to rest. Because with your hand in my hand, we can watch the stars, make plans. Together we'll stand, woman and man. So if your life has been bleak, I'm here to make it more better. We can slide down the coast in my busted up Jetta, walk down the beach and drink some amaretta as I keep your body warm like a cashmere sweater. You see, it's a full moon and this young Cancer might just sweat ya. But no, I'm gonna keep it on the low like my flow. Take it slow. Because I got much respect for you, girl. This, yeah, for no. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And as we talk about self-reflection, acceptance is really important. And this piece, honestly, is one of the first pieces that I started performing some 25 years ago. We used to have what we called signature pieces. I used to look at this as my signature piece. Also, I used to like to perform this whenever I first started any venue. If I was new, I felt like this, let people know. And like I said, I'm a part of the hip hop culture, but at 21, when I had my first son, and I chose to raise a family, I decided to go the spoken word route and take that same hip hop energy and utilize it that way. So this one is acceptance, once known as born to be deep. You see, I was born to be deep, but converse quite simple. You see, I stay alive and I strive as long as fluids in the temple to create and meditate in the hills where the wind speaks through the valleys and peaks. Oh Lord, thank you for allowing me to dig deep into the earth for the birth of new wisdom to project intellect and manifest charisma to flow and make sound pound like a new pair of bongos, to commit with the mind and do time that rests shall follow. Because you see, it's poetry I choose, once influenced by Langston Hughes, short stories by Leroy Jones, Amari Baraka. You see, it all depends on my mood. You see, it all depends on my mood. Because between 15 and 19, things got really dark. It was suicidal tendencies, many hours in therapy, and even when alone, I was still sleeping with the enemy. I said, even when alone, I was still sleeping with the inner me. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. This is fun. This is fun. I remember I got a chance to teach science at a summer camp. That was a really fun experience when I was in school. And I remember playing with the kids, playing basketball. And one of the students asked, "Hey, Mr. M, you play basketball too?" I guess, he saw me only as the science teacher. And I said, "Yeah, you can do more than one thing, and show them versatility." And in that spirit, we taught them rocket science. It was amazing. It was amazing. And in that spirit, I wrote a poem called "A Star Is Born." And in this poem, I juxtapose um, a commercial star, a hip hop star, a pop star, versus interstellar star being born. And in this crowd, I won't even go there, and I never do. Talking about dating myself, but kind of also reminded me of that old movie, A Star Is Born. That was I had to find that. I don't want to watch that again now as an adult. Okay, so I'm talking light years beyond, yet lyrically dope, undetected by the naked, where one needs a space telescope, traveling, unraveling in interstellar nurseries. You see, the birth of an MC is where pressure's necessary. I mean, you'll soon see it's all interplanetary, because when you rock a cipher of the MC's crowd, we're now talking dense regions, molecular clouds, all due to gravity, polarity of style, where the once lyrically infantile, now Sons MCs like Ra moves crowds with a perpetual style, swagged up and wow. I'm saying, long story short, a star's born now. And now I tend to go ball for ball with young lyrical czars, reminding them not to forget where they're at or who they are. Because you see, hip hop's a galaxy full of infinite stars who only shines as bright as their last 16 bars. Thank you. Thank you. So that poem reminded me of, you know what? In the spirit of everything that's going on, I've been recently hanging out with my father, and he's going through cancer right now, and he's been doing good. He's been doing good, but with COVID and everything, it's really it's been a lot. And this man has also been a hero of mine. He ran. I had to ask him. He ran 16 marathons, and it was because of those marathons that he's able to do as well as he has been with his second wave of cancer hitting his body. And so going out to him, I would like to do this other piece that I wrote many, many moons ago. He used to share philosophy books with me. And I remember an Alan Watts book, The Taboo Against Knowing Who You Are, which is an awesome book. Really, really inspired my thinking and my thoughts at this young age. And so I tried to capsulize it in this poem. So this poem is called Sleepwalkers. You see, I had a talk with my father the other day, and we shot the shit about this world and its progress. Sometimes I think it's a test, the true game of hide and seek. For I am God, but refuse to hear God when he speaks. Better yet, when words are spoken, for God is not he nor she, but life held open. But with this human mind, we often find the urge to see the inside, while the inside's the outside. So for once, just let it slide. Now you might be wondering, who am I? I'm an ego, that's who. Egotistic and mystic and like all of you, talented, gifted. For I am you and you are me. Just as love, war all come naturally. So fly high and dig deep. Contemplate death and you'll sleep. You see, it was once said that I wasn't a loud talker, but back then I didn't want to wake the sleepwalkers. Thank you. So looks like I'm coming to the end. I don't want to take up everyone's time, but I do. I spoke of my father, and this this is I was once asked to write a poem by a coworker of mine, and my my youngest son was being born. Wow, some 21 years ago, and when I ended up writing a poem, and it made me think about me as a baby, and even further back. So I'll start here. You see, I'm just another brother man from Dina land with no spray can in hand, just a microphone. Representing my art like my name was Ramon. You see, my attitude was not mafioso. My code name's not Capone. Still, it's on. It's on. It's on. You see, I'm prepared to take out a full cipher like my name was Bruce Lee through some form of lyrical Tai Chi. So num your hold and get your and come follow me. You see, I was born an MC. McTate, MC, Tate, a young master of ceremonies who's out to move a crowd. I may step lightly, but allow my soul to scream loud. What a philosophy that transcends virtuosity, spiritualistic like Jah, Rastafari, Haile Selassie. I can't say that I was born for this though, because ever since an embryo, I've been gurgling my flows. Holding the umbilical until the doc said, push. You see, I came out in one gush. Left my mom and the midwife shook, because in the afterbirth is where I kept my rap books. Ugh. Full of crafted, mastered prose and haikus. You see, my mom was my first muse. Her heartbeat, my Pro Tools, plus the aquatic finger snaps in her embryonic sac were the very first tracks to my very first raps as I lyrically tried to define where I was at. You see, rhythms crescendoed and became oh so instrumental to new synaptic action potentials. So I'm saying, even when no bigger than a pill, I was still ill and funky in a sense, because as air burbles was dispensed, caused my mom's flatulence. Thank you. So thank you.
Oh, McTate, brilliant. Thank you for sharing and bringing us into your world there.
Well, thank you guys for taking the time out to come into my world. I appreciate it.
Oh, marvelous. What I'd like to do now is introduce Sharon Coleman. I think she came back on. There she is. Welcome, Sharon. I'm going to spotlight you here for everyone. And thank you for joining us. Sharon is a fifth generation Northern Californian. She writes for Poetry Flash. I'm sure many of you have read some of her work in the Flash. She co-curates the reading series Lyrics and Dirges, co-directs the Berkeley Poetry Festival, and she's the author of a chapbook, Half Circle, and a book of microfiction, Paris Blinks. And welcome, Sharon, to Well Read tonight. And let us know what's happening in your neck there of the woods, what's going on with Lyrics and Dirges.
Thank you so much for having me come read. And wow, McTate, that is just such a strong reading, such great work. I just really enjoyed it. My internet got a little funky, so I had to log off and I reboot my computer. That's usually the best way. And now it's pretty stable, so I'm really happy about that. Everything is in the ether with Lyrics and Dirges, meaning we just are setting up a whole reading series for the first half of 2021. And I just had a conference with MK Chavez, my co-curator, and we've been together running this series for over 11 years. And so check out our Facebook page, and we will soon have a lot of the readings up there. We're going to have some special evenings. I know I'm going to do like some translation, have some readers who are translators as well. Also having some memoirs and some poetry and dance. And MK Chavez has a lot of interesting things coming up too. So just like us on Facebook and you'll see the lines up. Great. Okay, so thank you so much. I have a lot of work that I thought I'd pull out to read. Let me get it a little bit bigger. I had everything set up and then I had to reboot everything. Okay, so I'm from Northern California. My family's been here for a while. But my husband, he spent his formative years in Texas, and every so often he has to go back there to see his stepfathers and other family there. And every so often I go there. And it's a real different place for me to be. But this is one poem that came from one of those times, and it's about an ice house, which before refrigeration, people would go out, have a little building by a river or a stream, take out the ice in the winter and store it there, pack it in with sawdust. So here's one of those poems. Ice House. In a late June field, the lowering sun keeps western eyes low, bathes skin and darkens it, lightens a blue dress. 20 paces from a dry Texas creek stands an ice house, abandoned since the dawn of petrol's rise, before atoms split. It leans, door ajar, boards bared and bleached by a heat ever more common. Only the lock and hinges are not rusted and holding. In the door frame, aslant and wide open to the field beyond a fallen back wall, I stand holding upright a grass blade, thick, sawtooth, a foot long. Its green is silver in the sunlight, like a knife blade, like the gray streaks in my dark hair, like a poetic line poised to tickle, to thrust between ribs. This next poem is, it's called Contretemps. And so I grew up like McTate in the 80s. And I also did a lot of dance. That brought me into poem, and it brought my rhythm into the poems too. So I used to go into San Francisco, and so this is about that. I spent a lot of time on public transportation going all around the Bay Area. I just wanted to say this poem has just recently appeared in the Poem of the Day at the San Francisco Public Library. This is curated by Kim Shuck, and you should just check it out. She has so many poems up there by just wonderful people from all over the Bay Area. So you'll get a lot of 80s in here. For those of you who don't remember, Est was a, well, you'll see what's in this here. So it's called Contretemps. Streetcar ceiling cracks, rain free falls, taps vacant seats, spots a white polyester robe, trickles silver go-go boots. A Saturday morning angel leaves downtown early. Nothing perturbs the angel spiraling along a row of safety pins, piercing the top curl of the angel's right ear, down to the lobe where a chain loops a graceful bulk of shoulders, and ascends to the other glittered lobe. With Buddha's carved composure, the angel grips a boombox between knees, its silence a reverence for the clear new hour. Rumble and swerve of the N Judah through debouched tunnel joggles loose bones of sparse passengers, old folks with newspapers or dark bags. Me, young enough to slip a nickel into the metal slot to get across town, where I'd shed jeans and pull on dance tights. 1980, and red spray paint, eat a cop, kill a Twinkie, christens a civic center statue of a heroic man from someone's past. Those words loomed over me as I waited in drizzle for the hulking streetcar. I practiced its travesty for years. Army surplus over Swan Tutu, pronounced myself Sharonova Colemanova, tossed off skirts to dance polka and facade, galloped a headless horseman, hurled pumpkins at besotted crane heads, or answered random pay phones. Hello, White House. I believed every city in America had a thoroughfare with faded movie houses, donut stores, rifle shops, maternity wear, dentists, florists, or a Sears whose basements dug through native remains, a highway flattened by missionaries and snarled believers, where angels should not be caught in drag. Est followers choreographed deep eye contact as they served drinks to the opera ballet. They were disciples kept from pissing for hour to absorb Zen for success. At least they had a chance, not Jim Jones's 918. I once turned over a piece of scratch paper and Leo Ryan's blue felt tip signature stared back. One morning, reports of a sniper at 7th and Mission kept me home from dance. No one shot out of history that day except for his gun. To believe anything but not for very long seemed one strategy. To mime angelic parodies, another. Each contretemps led into another. How was I to know peering in at the threshold wasn't safe? That I couldn't just kick one leg forward or back and turn around without being spun into the spiral hole. Great, thank you. Those were tough years seeing, the mayor, Harvey Milk, assassinated. So many things happened those years. This next poem is it's a recently published poem that I wrote for my my longtime friend and colleague, MK Chavez. I teach at Berkeley City College, and I met MK, as I meet a number of wonderful people, when they come in to take my poetry workshop. And I have so much chance, and I'm so honored to be able to have a classroom full of so many talented and wonderful people. So this is called Sparrow Sonnet, and it's probably, I guess it's one of the only sonnets I ever wrote. Sparrow Sonnet for MK Chavez. Small feathered joy tussles about in dust, drain water, melting snow, then wings upward, where each wind current is a fluttering argument you can't keep still. But you brace words with a bone-thickened tongue, crack open meanings whole, swallow salty songs of seeds. Little brown city bird, you orphaned yourself, dart from sorrow to sparrow, streetwise trill. You fly leafy twigs to hidden places among bricks and steel, then roost by loose wires that carry our songs. You quiver with another plumed thrill, churl into night, never between hands longer than delight. You flit with grit sweetness, wing and escape. The next poem is a poem I wrote. I have to get this a little bit bigger. With my husband. And it actually has two sides to it. So there's almost two voices. And I will do both of them, actually. And it's called Obad Ruins. And Obad is a literary tradition of writing a poem about parting from your lover the next morning, getting up and leaving, something that's so almost impossible now with shelter in place, where we stay in place, we never leave our loved ones. Obad Ruins. The cathedral dissolves into the rising sea. Its ribs' towering reach returns to gravity. Before daylight, I press against the humid wall of your back, pull you from sleep, pull you towards me. Your hand passes over my face. Gulls in the crumbling arches, a wind-blown bird, dully clangs against a tongueless bell. Before daylight, we dress in the dark of our home, barefoot over floorboards water might rise through one day. Gray sky from fallen windows brightens the nave. A pelican attends her brood under a statue stained by brine. Before I leave, we sit together by the window. Dawn rises at our backs. Its scant light grazes your drawings of ruins. Seals come to rest under domed vaults, then let in sun here and there. Before I leave, you strum chords borrowed from Spain. Each note I enter loosens the lines between ruins. Salt water has risen and laps at the pews. Must of feathers and muck mix in a lingering sweetness of incense. When I leave, the door remains half open to morning air. When we share breath again, it will taste of evening. Drawn in a race, the cathedral exhales, and seals mate in its erasure. The next poem I'm going to read is fairly new one, and just recently published on Dream Pop Press. It's a really great online journal. Just before Shelter in Place began, I lost my father, and so I was actually very relieved to just stay at home and teach from there, because I had a lot of my own, needed to be having some alone time. So this is one of the poems. And just so giving a little more context, I sit actually in this chair a lot teaching, and outside the window to my right is a street tree that I asked to be planted. And so during summer, there was a California towhee that was just absolutely interested in me. I don't know why it kept being at the window and trying to get in. Never happened before. So here it is, morning in the time. After their lungs are devoured, our fathers return as birds. A hummingbird needles main flowers iridescent. A blue heron alights from a low Texas creek. A California towhee eyes me through a street window. This dull brown bird scratches my blocked chimney flue. In the bronchial leaves of a Chinese pistache, it considers a nest. The scraggy songbird teases my cat face to face. We are the daughters who don't believe. We are the daughters who write poems as we do. Okay. How are we doing? I guess I will have one more poem. And this is another, and I don't know how to introduce this poem, so I won't. But it certainly goes back to those days. It's called Crossed. It's now beyond skin soft, cotton white from India, Hong Kong label, Shung Shin golden pin, small holes in the jersey weave. When I slip it over my head at night, I wonder how it fit his 6-foot frame. The shoulder seems just an inch below the top slope of my narrow arms. It's the only thinness we share now, a thinness I wear to wear out. I wear to sleep far from the scars that crossed his back, that my hands crossed often before I knew what they were. You were cut in the war, where he learned to load a camera with one hand because the other held a gun. In Vietnam, he may have nodded to avoid saying he was cut here in the States, a country where he'd say we're both half-breeds. But it wasn't quite the same with my half-life, a crime elsewhere, but his here. I wear it a few times a summer when fog doesn't cool the sunburnt earth. Or I wear nothing and I don't think about the midnights he spent playing Pac-Man in the dark or sucking a cigarette between broken teeth. Don't think about his life spent in between photos and half-truths, because I'm now the age he was when we met, and the worn cotton carries no smoke, no stains, just a softness I discovered of men's skin across their backs. And now holes widen in its jersey weave where it once covered scars. Thank you so much for everybody coming out here and for everybody who put this on.
Oh, thank you for that lovely reading. So many fine images and so much fine wisdom. Thank you so much, Sharon, for joining us. And McTate, can we just like unmute everybody and like, like get people to, here we go. I'm gonna ask people.
Whoa!
Yay! Right. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful reading by both poets. Great. Thank you.
Now I'd like to send it back to Joe Miller, who will present a little for you folks about works, and also once that concludes, we'll begin an open mic. So those of you who are interested to share, you know, get something ready, and you can chat, put your name in the chat box, and we'll have you featured for the open mic. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, so this is just a little look at the windows of works. Last month and the month before, we had an exhibition in the windows called For Mr. Floyd, Ms. Taylor, which is part of our online exhibition with the same name that started much earlier in the summer with the murder of George Floyd. And this is just 2 minutes look at the exhibit in the windows, and then we'll go into one more little presentation as we come out to poetry.
Yeah, both. Mm. Mm.
So that was an effort of about 70 local artists submitting their work from our call. And it just ended up a really, really inspiring show. And I'll put the link to the online show, which has many more images and clearer images than what you saw there, including an original song by Aspen Rose, as well as an original poem by an old friend of mine from KSJS, Phil Navarro Johnson, and it's really just kind of our response there to what's been going on, not just in the summer, but for hundreds of years, and we really hope and pray for change, and so much yet so little has happened, and there's a lot more ahead of us with that. I want to just do a shout out to both of the poets. Sharon was fantastic stuff, and the relation to the places and that were incredible. McTate just kind of brought me back to so many things with hip hop that I grew up with. Thinking of Africa Bambaataa, and along with Grandmaster Flash was one of my first big experiences in becoming a fan of hip hop, and Planet Rock. I've never, by the way, and with Tribe Called Quest, I've never heard Bonita Appice referred to in a poem before. That was just like, oh man, that just like blew me away. And so I want to just take a moment here to come back into something here that I just got to play, and this is Planet Rock, and we'll do a couple of minutes here of Planet Rock before coming back here, because it's just too cool not to. So oops, I'm gonna stop the share. Make sure that I get my sound right. Hold on, got to share the sound. Share sound, optimize. All right, let's go. Here we go. African Bambaataa.
People, party people, can yo get funky? Suicide and folks, can yo get funky? The Zulu Nation, can yo get funky? Yeah, just hit me. Just face the funk and hit me. Just get on down and hit me. Bambaataa's getting so funky now, hit me. Yeah, just hit me.
Time to chase your dreams about the streets, make your body sway, socialize. Get down. Let your soul lead the way. Shake it now.
Go, ladies.
It's a living dream.
Love, life, live.
Come play
the game. Our world is free.
Do it to us, but world is free. Be what you be to me. You're in a place where the nights are hot, where nature's children dance and say the chant on this mother earth, which is our rock. The time has come and work for soul. Show you really got soul. Are you ready? Pump, 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 get bump. Now let's go. House is rocking, don't stop it. You gotta rock it, don't stop. Keep ticking and talking, working all around the clock. Everybody keep rocking and clocking and shocking and rocking. Go house. Everybody say rocking, don't stop it. Hip it, Mr. Big. Wow, wow. L-O-B-E. The Soul Sonic Force. Gotta rock this and poppin', 'cause in the century there is such a place that creates such a melody. Our world is by the plan of a master jam. Get up and dance, time to chase your dreams. About to see, make your body sway. Socialize, get down, let your soul lead the way. Shake it now, go ladies. It's a living dream. Love, life, live. Everybody gotta rock it, don't stop it. You gotta rock it, don't stop it. You gotta rock it, don't stop it. You gotta rock it, don't stop. You gotta rock it, don't stop it. You gotta rock it, don't stop. You gotta rock it, don't stop it. You gotta rock it, don't stop it. You gotta rock it, don't stop it. You gotta rock it, don't stop.
Oh my God, Soul Sonic Force. Shit, yeah. Oh my God. So thanks for indulging me on that. There's just like so many memories there. And just a little reference, I grew up in Richmond, California. So so when I came to San Jose, like to go to school at San Jose State, I wondered like, what the hell happened to all the people of color, basically, you know, like, what is this place? You know, I didn't know what the hell had happened, you know, but ended up staying here, and this is my community, you know, and I love Richmond. I love here in San Jose. And anyways, thanks for that indulgence. Thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you so much, McTate, for a great night so far. And I'm giving it back to Rob here to get us into the open mic. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Joe. Share the link to works for the web and the website and Facebook. And I got into chat the address. It's very easy to find works and look at through the windows there and see the exhibit at Works San Jose. And I thank you all for putting names into chat for those of you who want to share tonight. I have here up first Scorpiana, then we have Mia Ruiz, then Molly, then Susana Prever Perez. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. And then Manny to bring up the evening. If anybody else wants to join, just simply chat in the box, give me your name. All right, with that said, please now welcome to the mic, Scorpiana. Ooh, Here we go.
My husband's not a fan or nothing. This is not yet titled. My mother doesn't tell me I'm beautiful. She doesn't even tell me that I'm mildly pretty. And when I ask her why, she tells me I'm smart, that my mind is the dopest part of the galaxy. She tells me the world is a minefield for those they name woman, and pretty girls learn to need rescuing that I must learn to eviscerate. Mama says I am not a twig meant to be snapped and used for kindling. I am taught to bend like grass until I have invisibled and then strike match to petrol. Mother tells me to be a dragon while men sleep. She teaches me to be feral, says when they call me a beast, to puff my chest and extend claws, tells me I was born with the power of midnight, that I was meant to be she-wolf, tells me to growl like my veins are cinder, tells me never to be tamed, to never be like her. My mother tries to forge me in fire, throws me into the forest to fight my way through concrete trees, tells me not to come home until I have made my first kill, tells me to not come home until there is blood on my hands, tells me to not come home until I have feasted on jugular, tasted salt and iron in the back of my throat, learned the feel of my teeth tearing into tendons. My mother tells me that the woods will destroy you unless you have learned to shed your skin until you have exposed raw survivor. That I must lurk in the shadows until the predator learns what it means to be prey. She tells me that my bruises are a roadmap to lead me back to her. She tells me not to come home until I have made my first kill. She tells me to come home. That was that one. Sunday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Come down to the San Jose Poetry Slam. Our feature is going to be San Jose's own Hillary McHenry. Thank you.
Thank you, Score. Thank you, Score, for sharing. It's great to have Hillary coming next month. And now, please welcome to the mic, Mia Rees. I'm going to spotlight you, Mia. There you go. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for a great reading and forum. I'm just going to dive in. A poem called Dirt. I am a woman who comes from people who made their way scraping the earth to live. Raspeando la tierra, on one side for yucca, on the other side oro. So my skin, the color of dirt, comes from the murky waters of El Rio Nanay, where my father dove and surrendered, became un bufeo, a pink river dolphin flashing in the sun. And from the silt that remained after, El Rio Ucayali flooded and carried away my grandmother Emilia's grave. My mother, just a child, tasted the saltiness of loss, began to run. Un venado, a wounded deer. I am a woman then, part bufeo, part venado, who survived what she had to be here like this, naked, except for this smile, these eyes, a caged puma's eyes, these hands and fingers gnarled and primeval that ground down rock with these knuckles. Skin, the color of dirt, mikara, face cracked by the merciless eddies of tears drawn in drought time. I am a woman who kneels before you, the gray arc of eons scattered at your feet. a woman of la luna llena, 708 full moons, by which I seek to trace the scars on my wrist, breast, and belly, and commit to memory the map leading away from the treasure. I am a woman with skin el color de la tierra, so I dissolve in water. I am composed of my love, not enough to save anyone or anything, but still the sunlight roiling in las Amazonas when my body disappears, when the earth herself disappears. I am a woman de tierra y agua, of dirt and water, who knows you are afraid. But I've got you, the jewel of you, the delicate ring of you, the parts of you that are hated and despised, the mystery and misery of you that will continue to create long after injustice fails, long after justice is undone by mercy. I am the woman, earth beneath her fingernails, who smells your fear and breathes into you el vuelo, the flight of the condor.
Thank you, Mia. Thank you for joining and sharing. Marvelous work. Now, to let people know, we have next Molly, then Susanna, Manny, Larry, Pushpa, and Nelly. Now, please welcome to the mic, Molly. Come on down, Molly.
Hi, I'm Molly, and this short poem I wrote after seeing this writing prompt that says, if seeing below the surface makes me too closely entwined with melancholy, so be it. And so here's the poem. Let me skitter across the surface like a water bug, land lightly on watery plains, shadowy forms move below. I do not want to cast myself into depths where I may be mistaken for a lure. I seem to attract misfortune. Do not suck me in. I have not grown gills. If I swallow too much, I will drown. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, please welcome to the mic, Susanna. Come on to the mic, Susanna.
Thank you. I had not planned to read tonight. I really came to listen, and it was beautiful. McTate and Sharon, just gorgeous sets. But that little video presentation inspired me to pull this poem out. It's called All We Need Is Love and a New Anti-Racist Praxis. On the radio this morning, the Puerto Rican mother of a child slayed at Sandy Hook implored in the name of her murdered daughter and her living Black son, do not stop. Keep on marching. Do not stop short this time. The road was splayed open Memorial Day Eve by a 9-minute knee that broke the camel's back and George Floyd's windpipe. Broke the other cheek we've been turning for centuries. A weeping teen held her ground against Blue Mace, had no idea her Facebook post of a man mourning for his mama as a cop crushed his life would reroute history. The world paused on its axis, fire and throat, sacred rage and indignant love, heart's prayers painted on boarded buildings. Molecules trill beneath 50 million feet, path no longer immutable, gravity shifting with unity's weight. Do not stop. In the name of Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery, in the name of too many names to name, in the name of the never named, keep on marching till we reach the corner of Justice and Main Streets, where every mother's child can breathe. Do not stop short this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Susanna. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad you chose to read tonight. Thank you so much. Now, please welcome to the mic, Manny. Are you here with us, Manny, still?
Yes. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, great, Manny. You're right on.
All right. Here I go. I don't know why I named this. I call it Super Soaker 21. I don't know. I heard the term super spreader or something, but I just like, okay, this is Super Soaker 21. Anyways, here it goes. Fresh to death, nonetheless. We choose what we use. Don't abuse, last forever. Be clever with your time. Be clever with your devices. Be clever with your loved ones. Peace in mind all the time. The positive attitude attracting all clues. Get out of the blues. Thanking all those that choose to address sound muse. No emotion, all logic. Clear, precise solution. Progress. Peace is a choice. Choose daily. Thank you.
Thank you, Manny. Right on. Thank you for joining us. Next, we have at the mic, Larry Hollis. Come on down, Larry.
Hey.
There you
Thank
are.
you, Dave. Thank you, Sharon. Beautiful readings tonight. This poem was something hit me from the Poetry Slam Sunday, so this is what this poem came from.
He's gonna shave his beard.
Isaac, thank you. It's called Writing a Poem. When you finish writing a poem, there's a feeling of relief, much like the relief of finishing your much needed morning pee. Now, I'm not talking about your average morning pee. I'm talking about having drank a quart of lemonade the night before, just before going to bed. I'm talking about waiting a half an hour after your bladder's woken you up because it's warm under your covers. I'm talking about waiting another half an hour more because you're starting to age and you know those first few steps are just going to hurt. I'm talking about your feet already hurting from walking 8 to 10 miles the day before on hard cement with your overweight body and a pair of shoes with memory foam that has developed Alzheimer's. I'm talking about taking your first steps in the morning, falling back onto the bed because your feet hurt so much and are stiff that you cannot balance yourself. I'm talking slowly making your way to the toilet, balancing on secure surfaces, avoiding using the ironing board or the bookshelf, but using the dresser and the wall until you're almost there and start to walk normally. I'm talking about your eyes are tearing up from the pain of your feet and other sore muscles and from your now overfull bladder screaming at you. I'm talking about the relief now felt that you've made it and you finished at last, having flushed the toilet without touching the handle. That is what writing a poem is like. That is what it feels like to finish a poem.
Thank you, Larry. Oh, thank you for joining us and sharing that poem with us. Now to the mic, please welcome Pushpa McFarland. Thank you, Pushpa, for joining us, and so glad to see you tonight.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, McTate and Sharon. It was a lovely evening here listening to you. And Joe, thank you for all the stuff that you provided us, but we would have missed it otherwise. Suddenly my throat is scratching, sorry. This is it's a very old, this poem I wrote a long time ago, but the background is my nephew. He was the first one in the family, my sister's son, who was, his wife was having a baby and we were looking forward to it. And of course I tried to, I bought some wool. We didn't know whether it was a boy or a girl, so I bought a pink and blue, combined wool, and I started trying to make an Afghan. And unfortunately, we found out that the baby didn't survive. And so that really, really bothered me a lot. And this poem is as a result of that. Afghan sky. The sky, woven in baby pink, crisscrosses the soft blue expanse, like the pastel Afghan I knitted in ribbing for the newborn that suddenly was gone within a week of its birth. Young parents still holding tight in bruised fingers the threads of their kite torn away in swift, cold wind, lost somewhere in the universe, or behind the tall buildings of the cityscape that point to the heavens like accusing fingers. So much mystery in the skies that envelop us, revealing powder blue in layers under onion pink schemes. Thank you.
Thank you, Pushpa. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Now, please welcome to the mic and concluding the open mic, Nellie. Hi, Nellie.
Nellie Moody.
My poem is called Audible Book. At the point in the narration, the priest is weighted down with the burden of a decimation he has never seen before. Shamed by the lies he has told through his downcast eyes, the silent response when the mother asks the question, the sound of the young daughter who cannot find a breath. At that point in the story, I am walking by the grassy park where the steel black gates on either side are sealed with a key code lock so that the homeless won't sleep there. Across the small park, St. Francis gently holds a small bird, the rope around his waist, loosely defining the middle of his body. Several feet away, the Holy Mother is lost in her own world, and the yellow roses and flamboyant birds of paradise seem the materialization of a song she has been thinking. At this point in the story, over 215,000 people have died of a virus, like the one in the book in Mexico in 1918. Why did I not read the summary? I would have known better than to choose a book about a pandemic during a pandemic. At this point in the story, neither Mary nor St. Francis have anything to offer me. Our Lady of the Sea is usually empty, per regulations, just as the church is in the story. There have not been any women in front of the church office selling food in months. At this point in the story, we count ourselves blessed if we are still alive, but I have not held my grandchildren in a year.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nellie.
Thank you for the opportunity to read.
Much appreciated having you and all of you who read for the open mic joining us tonight to hear McTate and Sharon. And I encourage all of you when we were able to travel to visit their readings at Lyrics and Dirges and at De Anza College as well, and to visit Works San Jose down in downtown San Jose. Thank you to Works, which typically, when we have congregate meetings, has this in their gallery space. And want to wish you all safety and health this year, and look forward to seeing you again next month, tomorrow. Remember, Flash Fiction Forum with Lita Kurth and Tanya Martin at Works, and you can, I think, get more information about that on the Works Facebook page and at the Flash Fiction Forum's Facebook page. And next month for Well Read, we have Taya Matthews featured for the reading, and I think you'll all enjoy her. I see Sharon nodding her head. Yes. So okay, for that, and I was gonna send you off with some music, but I'm just gonna leave it open for those of you who want to catch up and talk.